This is Sergei. He is a breed of cat known as an archangel. He is the male half of the only breeding pair of archangels outside of Russia. Sergei is worth $4,000 and is owned by one of these three men. What is your name, please?
My name is Myland Greer.
My name is Myland Greer.
My name is Myland Greer.
Only one of these men is the real Myland Greer. The other two are imposters and will try to fool this panel. Tom Poston, Peggy Cass, Orson Bean, and Kitty Carlisle. On To Tell the Truth with your host, Bud Collier.
Thank you very much. Thank you, and good evening, and welcome once again to Tell the Truth. Brought to you this week by Wizard Room Deodorizer, the deodorizer with the odor-killing ingredients that trap household odors and just simply clear them away. Good evening, panel.
Good evening, Bud.
Well, that's what I like, a bright, smart, on-top-of-everything reply. Orson, you're really getting on top of everything. You're starting a school or something, aren't you?
I'm starting of all things, I'm starting a grade school for kids here in Manhattan based on the English school Summerhill. And I'm very excited about it.
Wonderful.
It's a school where you don't have to go to class and you can smoke and drink and...
Oh, come on.
I'm exaggerating a little. But I am starting a Summerhill school.
Well, good fortune with it. All right, open up that first envelope, if you will, please, panel, and follow along as I read this opening story. I, Myland Greer, own and operate the only shop in the world that sells nothing but pedigreed cats. My cats range in price from $75 for a Siamese to $1,000 for an Archangel kitten. I will not sell a cat to a person who has the wrong kind of personality. A potential owner must realize that all cats are individuals. They make no pretense at affection, they have no sense of humor, they like to be treated rough, and their so-called cute antics are all completely premeditated. In terms of popularity, cats are on the upswing. They now outnumber dogs in this country by more than 700,000. In my opinion, the dog as a pet is passé. Signed, Myland Greer. Panel, as you heard, these three gentlemen are claiming that they're in on a millennium of some sort, claiming to be Myland Greer, a cat expert, who says that the cat is the new thing and dogs are passé. Let's start questioning with Orson Bean. Orson?
Yes, number two, how did you get this cat out of Russia? Did he have to break through the Iron Curtain, or... These are the only two breeding cats outside of Russia, you said.
Yes, that's correct, sir.
How does that happen, that there are so few?
Well, it's a new variety, of course, and is rare. And because it's rare, it's difficult to acquire. And it took a bit of finagling to get it out of Russia, as a matter of fact.
Number one, at one time, 1/4 of all the people in Germany were burned at the stake for owning cats. Do you know this, and can you account for this phenomenon? This was years ago.
I don't know anything
Never heard
about
about that?
No, I'm sorry.
Number three, do you know about that? No. Number three, where is the Bidewee home for cats?
It's here in New York. I don't know the address.
Number one, do you?
It's,
Kitty.
between...
Number two, where is Archangel?
In northern Russia.
Number three, what distinguishes a Manx?
It doesn't have a tail.
Number one, what distinguishes an Angora?
Angora is the name for the kind of fur.
Number two, what distinguishes a Persian?
The lard, the fluffy fur.
Thank you. Number three, is this Archangel kitten very rough?
I don't know what you mean by rough.
Well, you say cats are rough. They like to be treated rough. Is this one a rough cat? Do you like to be treated rough?
Yes, all cats like to be treated roughly.
In what way?
Oh,
Hit them?
Tom Poston.
Thank you. Number three, what is dander?
I don't know.
Do you know number two, dander?
No, sir, I don't recognize the term.
Number one, what is dander?
I'm sorry, I don't.
Oh, well, you've got my dander up now. Number three, what is a North American short hair?
I don't know.
Is that a pedigreed cat?
It's an Ivy League boy.
No, I don't think it's a pedigree cat.
Number two, how many pedigrees are there for cats?
Well, as many as there are pedigreed cats, of course.
No. I mean, how many types of cats are classified as pedigreed cats?
Well,
how many types are there in the...
Any cat whose lineage is known is a pedigreed cat. In other words, the pedigree is a record of the lineage of the progenitors, if you please.
Peggy Cass?
Oh, number 3, where is the Empire Cat Show held?
Here in New York.
Number 2, could you tell me which building it's held in?
I think it's the 34th Street Armory.
Number 1, what is a Burmese?
A Burmese cat? A Burmese cat is a long-haired Siamese, actually.
Number 2, what is a calico cat?
Well, it's one that has its 3 colors.
Number 3 is a sort of a differential in the sex ratio of those cats. There are more boys or more girls. Do you know which it is in calico cats?
I think there are more females.
Number...
That's all the time we have. That's an interesting note to leave it on, but let's, shall we, and get to the business of marking our ballots. Please mark them, panel, at once, without change. No consultation, of course, permitted, as you vote now, if you will, for number 1, number 2, or number 3. Of course, our team of challengers will be awarded $250 for every incorrect vote. All voting ended, is it?
Teacher, she's made a terrible mess over
She
here.
has, eh? Well, we'll have her
can't even read it from here.
stay for penmanship after class. Tom, for whom did you vote?
I don't know. I wrote down number 1, but I didn't mean it. I don't know why I did that.
All right, Peggy.
Well, I voted for number 2, because if you own a lot of pedigreed cats, you ought to know about that high-class cat show, and it is at 34th Street Armory, and also of calico cats. Maybe they're not pedigreed, but they're rare, and 90% of them are females.
Uh-huh.
And they're smart.
And you're smug. Orson.
Yes, number 2 looks like a cat man to me. I'm a cat man. I've always owned cats, and I've never been troubled with hairballs, friends. I eat grass. Number 2 is my choice.
Crazy.
Kitty Carlisle.
Well, I was going to vote for number 2, but as you can see, I did make a bit of a mess, and I voted for number 3. Number 3 I voted for because I did think there were more female cats in the calico breed, and number 3 said there were more females. And I love cats, too, and I voted for number 3.
Well, that's an unusually split vote, the way you have it tonight. You don't usually do it quite that way. However, let's see what comes out of the melange here as we go into the truth circle and find out how many of you are right and how many are wrong. Learning now which of these gentlemen actually is the expert on cats and has written about it to prove it, as a matter of fact. Will the real Myland Greer please stand up? Thank you, sir, very much. Not only does Myland Greer believe that dogs are really passé, but he's written a book to prove it, which he calls The Fabulous Feline, or Dogs Are Passé, which is used, I'm told, as a textbook in 2 universities.
Well, he's so wrong.
No matter what, universities or not, he's wrong. Number 1, what is your real name and what do you really do?
My name is Damian London, and I'm a comedy writer.
And number 2, you got the greatest amount of votes. What is your real name and what do you do, sir?
I'm G. Beverly Salmons, headmaster of Tamworth Academy in Wanalancet, New Hampshire. And at my school, there are no such liberties as were mentioned, if you please.
Kids will come to my school then.
Well, in checking the score, it's a very happy one for you. You did an excellent job of fooling a very astute panel. And there were 1, 2, 3 incorrect votes at $250 each. That, of course, means coming your way from Dristan is $750, as well as the gift package of all the fine products from the makers of Dristan. Gentlemen, thank you very much for enlivening our evening. It was, in the vernacular, the cats. Good night, and God bless you. Panel is our next team of challengers.
What is your name, please?
My name is Jheri Redding.
My name is Jheri Redding.
My name is Jheri Redding.
Panel, will you follow along with your copies of this story? I, Jheri Redding, am a cosmetologist Through chemical research, I have discovered that the best treatment for the hair and skin is the application of common kitchen ingredients. For instance, a combination of raw egg whites and herb tea is good for wrinkles. Chapped skin responds to a solution of cider vinegar and water. For a wave set, I suggest the use of skimmed milk. Wheat germ oil is good for hair that is exhausted, and mayonnaise works wonders on hair that is just plain sick. In those extreme cases, when hair is actually dying, the most effective remedy is an application of vodka and red pepper. Signed, Jheri Redding. Panel, these three persons all claim to be Jheri Redding, kitchen cosmetologist, I guess you could call it. Let's start the cross-examination with Tom Poston. Tom?
Oh, Bud, I have to disqualify myself.
Oh.
Well, I know all of these kitchen cosmetologists so well.
You've actually put this stuff on your hair?
No, but I know the person, so I won't, I'll disqualify myself.
All right, Tom. All right, that brings us to Peggy then. Peggy, will you start us off?
Yes. Number 3, how do you put the mayonnaise in your hair? And don't you smell terrible?
Oh, no.
Well, what do? Comb it through so that you look yellow?
Oh, no.
Well, what do you do, number 3, dear?
Just take a little on your hands and put it through your hair, just like any lubrication, any kind of...
And number 1, the vodka and red pepper. Could you tell me those proportions? Because my hair is actually dying. What are the proportions of vodka and red pepper?
To a pint of vodka, you put an ounce jar, which is actually less than an ounce, of cayenne, red pepper. And this has to be shaken up every once in a while and allowed to brew for about 2 weeks. Then...
I'll get this information later, but if you get in an elevator, wow.
Orson.
Yes, my friend Barney Winespar invented a hair tonic. It doesn't actually grow hair. It shrinks your head to fit the hair that it already has. Number 3, what do you do with the raw egg and the herb tea? Do you drink it, or do you rub it in, or what?
Oh, no. The raw egg and the herb are all mixed up together.
I know, and then what do you...
And you make a paste.
Oh, a paste, a horrid little paste.
Yeah.
Number 2, what is your definition of sick hair as opposed to dying hair? How can you tell if the hair has got a few more years to live or not?
Dying hair, I guess, is hair that falls out, and sick hair is hair that's getting ready to fall out.
Well, that's right. Number 1,
Carlisle.
Sir, number 2, do you use this preparation on your own hair?
All the time.
It's lovely.
Thank you.
Number 1, would you tell me what castor oil is good for?
Castor oil is very good for...
I mean, on the outside.
I was thinking about warts. Castor oil is very good for removing warts and skin blemishes when melanin leaves the skin from excessive sun.
Thank you very much.
Castor oil.
Number 3, would you tell me if castor oil can grow eyelashes?
Well, I've never used castor oil for eyelashes.
Number 2, do you drink this?
It can raise eyelashes, I'll tell you that.
Raise eyebrows, yes.
Sure can. All right, let's get to the business of marking ballots because the time is up for questioning. So mark them at once, please, without change, no consultation. Just vote, if you will, for number 1, or number 2, or number 3. All ballots marked? Very well, Tom, we won't ask you because you disqualified yourself, and that will go as an incorrect vote in the final totaling up of the score. Peggy, for whom did you vote?
I voted for number 1. They all look marvelous, and their hair is bouncing around just great. But number 1 said castor oil was good for warts, and I read that once in an herb book.
No kidding.
Yes, I did. So if she knows that it's good for warts, maybe she's the one.
All right, Orson.
Yes, I was hoping to hear about the famous cider and vinegar cure for Dowager's hump. I didn't hear... Number 3... doesn't actually send it away. You just don't mind having it. It's a good thing. Number 3 kind of, I think, did the massage kind of... I didn't look professional to me. And number 2, he was kind of vague about the uses of the different things. Number 1 is my choice.
All right, Kitty.
I voted for number 2 for a very simple reason. Number 1 and number 3 have beautiful hair, but can't compare to number 1.
To number 1.
I mean 2.
Oh, all right.
I mixed up tonight.
All right, here we have it. 2 for number 1, 1 for number 2, and 1 disqualification, which goes as a wrong vote. However, the outcome comes up. Let's see how it does as we learn now which one of these persons actually is the kitchen cosmetologist. So will the real Jheri Redding please stand up? Well, I must say I agree with Kitty. You're a good example of your own ministration.
I can hardly wait to go home and put mayonnaise in my hair.
Tom, where do you know?
I
Jheri?
saw this cat put mayonnaise in Steve Allen's hair one night. I tell you, it was the funniest thing you've ever seen. And to see Steve's face gradually grow more and more tense as the mayonnaise was going in,
Wow.
it was a beautiful sight. And he had to leave it in. He couldn't do anything about it for another hour and a half.
Walking salad. Number 1, what is your real name and what do you really do?
My name is Pamela Cathcart, and I'm a receptionist for Goodson Todman.
And number 3, what is your real name and what do you do?
My name is Penny Phillips, and I'm the cartoon voice of Clay the Cat.
Crazy Cat. Cartoon voice of Crazy Cat.
A great cartoon, beautifully done.
Crazy
I watched
Cat?
it.
Great cat.
Oh,
In
great.
checking the score, we find that there were 2 incorrect votes, plus the 1 disqualification, which makes it 3, and 3 times $250. $750, my friends, which you take along with you. And our thanks, of course, that comes your way from Tristan, and they also have for you a gift package of the fine products made by the makers of Tristan. Thanks so much for having fun with us. Hope you did. Good night, and God bless you. Now let's meet our 3rd team of challengers.
What is your name, please?
My name is Edward Thorpe.
My name is Edward Thorpe.
My name is Edward Thorpe.
All right, panel, please take out the next copy, if you will, and follow along. I, Edward Thorpe, am an associate professor of mathematics. I am especially interested in the laws of probability in gambling games. I applied some theories of my own and the findings of a computer to the game of blackjack or 21 and came up with a preliminary report which I delivered before a scientific meeting. The results were astonishing. 300 copies of my report were snapped up by the scientists, and I was besieged by people who wanted to help me profit from my system. 2 big-time gamblers actually did back me in an experiment at the blackjack table. In 2 hours of play, we broke the bank twice and won $17,000. The book I wrote expounding my system is called Beat the Dealer, a winning strategy for the game of 21. It is currently the most requested volume in the Las Vegas Public Library. Signed, Edward Thorpe. And here we bring you 3 gentlemen panel, all claiming to be Edward Thorpe, as you heard, author of what is called the most popular book in the Las Vegas Public Library. We'll start with Peggy Cass. Peggy?
Thank you. Number 2, who's Scarn?
Scarn?
Yes.
Do you mean Scarney?
Well, I don't know how to pronounce it. I read the book, but
He wrote a book about gambling.
Number 3, in blackjack, he tells you to stand on a certain number. Do you know what number that is?
I'm sorry, I don't know.
Do you know number 1?
Who tells you to stand?
Scarney. When in his book about blackjack, he says that you can even stand on as low a number as a certain number.
I don't recall.
Do you know number 2?
No, I don't.
Oh, what is insurance? Number 3, what is insurance in blackjack when you take insurance?
Well, that means that if the dealer has an ace, and you can see the ace, then you can put out a little bet to protect your bet against him having a blackjack.
Thank you.
Orson.
And number 2, you broke the bank twice in 2 hours of play. Were there other times where you tried it and failed?
There were other times we broke the bank, other times we didn't.
Did you lose all your money sometimes?
No, never.
Number 1, how much money would you need to go into this? Would you have to have a certain reserve behind you?
Well, I started with $10,000 with my 2 gambling friends. I only dipped into $1,300.
I see. Number 3, were these gambling friends, are they still walking free in the streets? Do you know them by name?
I call them X and Y in my book.
X and Y.
Kitty.
Well, having done this extraordinary thing, I want to know why you're here. Why aren't you working? Number one, we had a man on this show once who had a computer for, I think it was blackjack. Do you know his name?
I think I know who you mean, but I don't believe he used the same type of computer as I used. I used a digital computer.
I see. Now, number two, how long did it take you to work this out?
The entire theory?
Yeah.
Close to a year.
Number three, I'm asking this question seriously. Why don't you just do it all the time?
I'm not very popular out there these days.
Number one, where did you play?
Tom Poston.
Number one, they wouldn't think of keeping you out of Las Vegas, would they?
Oh, they sure would.
Well, what is that? What do you mean? They don't want you to come to Las Vegas?
Gambling is a business.
I know, but it's also supposedly a free society.
There's nothing free under the sun. If you start winning, you're in trouble.
Well, thank you. Number two, what is a bank? What determines a bank?
That determines the bank, it's up to the casino. They will have as much or as...
And that's it. There we pause on an as, and we stop and go right to the if and but as we please mark our ballots. At once, please. Without any change, of course, and without any consultation. Just vote now for number one, number two, or number three. All ballots marked?
Nope.
Please mark. We haven't much time. There we go. All right, Tom, for whom?
I voted for number three, and I'll tell you, if we better straighten this out right now because I don't think that Vegas or any other place that's a public place like that is allowed to bar people from their halls just because they win. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think it's number three.
Peggy.
Well, I voted for number two. I don't think that they could keep you out of, say, the Flamingo if you wanted to bet. And also number three, insurance is when you have two aces and you double them up and bet it. It's not that other insurance that you said. At least where I played it, that was insurance.
Orson.
Yes, I think it was nice that we had a chance to hear number one's story about how to after them before they come for them. Number three, because if they weren't after him before, they will be now. Number three is my choice.
Kitty.
Well, I think Peggy and Tom are naive. I'm sure they want to keep him out of Las Vegas, and I voted for number two about that book. And if you made up that book, I'm going to kill you. Oh, good. I voted for number two.
Well, it's evenly split. That's more the way you do, as a rule. 2 for 2,
Arnie
2
was
for
on
3.
here, I think.
We go now for the truth and find out who's right and who's wrong as we learn which one of these gentlemen actually is the author of the most popular book in the Las Vegas Library. Will the real Dr. Edward Thorpe please stand up? Thank you very much, Dr. Thorpe. Thank you, sir. Yes, Tom?
Well, I wondered if they'd let him in Vegas.
They often say, we don't like your action here. Would you please play somewhere else?
They keep you
But
shuttling
they
around.
can't really keep you out, can they? Legally, I mean.
No, they can't. Legally.
Yeah, I believe they can. I think they're classified as private clubs.
Oh?
They can play to whom they want and not play to whom they want.
Huh.
Well, I think people ought to know that before
I don't
they
have
go
any
there
more
and throw
time
their
to go
money.
into this any deeper. We'll go into it later. Number one, what is your real name and what do you really do?
I'm Bob Kozlarek, and I'm a stockbroker down on Wall Street.
And number two, what is your real name and what do you really do?
My name is John Gambling.
John Gambling, as I'm sure I don't have to tell you, wakes up an awful lot of people. About 8 million every week as host of his own show on radio station WR here in New York. John, it's nice to have you with us. Very nice.
Thank you, Bud. Thank you.
That's right. And just for the record, Dr. Thorpe is Associate Professor of Mathematics at New Mexico State University. Well, it was a lot of fun, and we find that there were 2 incorrect votes at $250 each. That's $500 from Dristan, as well as the gift package of the fine products and the makers of Dristan. Thanks so much. It was enlightening. It was fun. It was worth the gamble. Good night. God bless you. A bit about insurance.
Well, I always thought that if you got two aces, that you could split them up and make a side bet with the Well, anyway, I did it wrong once. It was impressed on me. I lost money that way. He must know. I don't know. I never went to college.
I hope we can clear it up. We certainly have. And that's it, but we had a lot of fun, and boy, the things I find out about you all. Thank you for letting me find it out. Good night to you, and bless you, and all of you, too. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you again next week at the same time, and I'll see you tomorrow afternoon, the daytime show. In the meantime, don't you forget to tell the truth. Good night.
To Tell the Truth is a Mark Goodson, Bill Todman production. Tell the Truth has been brought to you by Dristan Nasal Mist, the decongestant nasal spray for relief in seconds from sinus congestion and head cold distress. Dristan Nasal Mist. Johnny Olson speaking for To Tell the Truth, the program recorded.